Hey guys, if you don't know me, my name is Matthew Kasker. I've been traveling the world through a combination of frequent flyer miles, points and budget airlines. Today I want to give you a chat about some of the top 5 mistakes people make when they first start out earning miles and points and how you can avoid them. So without further ado, let's get straight to the point. So the first mistake a lot of people make is actually just not even trying or just giving up on the whole concept of points and loyalty programs. To be honest, the easiest way to get around this is simply think of it as a currency, because you save up your euros, you save your US dollars or your British pounds or whatever currency you have in your area. Well, think of your frequent flyer account as another way of saving. And yeah, always remember to put your frequent flyer number on your bookings whenever you go flying a plane. And so with that is make sure that you earn on programs that make sense. Don't just go on put on every single program everywhere, because you'll never be able to earn enough if you don't consolidate your efforts. Second mistake is actually quite a simple one, is don't hoard your points, don't hold on to them for too long, because eventually they will not be worth as much as you expected. And here's why. So unlike if you put savings into a bank account, or you have you invest in stuff on the stock market and stuff, you do not earn interest on your frequent flyer miles or points, and they just sit there and they will gather dust if you don't do anything with them. And yeah, airlines have a very nasty habit of doing what's called devaluations, where they change the rules and make it harder to do. But don't be discouraged by that, because that's definitely that's part of the game. Is yeah, you will beat the airlines at their own game. So the easiest way to overcome the cat and mouse game is simple. It's just to earn them as quickly as you can within reason, and then burn them all, just like the Mad King was in Game of Thrones. Yeah, just basically burn your miles as soon as you've got a good and concise idea of how you want to spend them. Redeem your miles as soon as you're ready to do it, because then you can win and you're the cat and not the mouse. Third mistake is actually quite simple. It's basically not knowing who your airline's partners are in terms of both earning and redeeming. Because you might not realise is that the best way to earn miles and also to redeem them is often on a program's partners. So let's take the example of British Airways Executive Club, which is used the currency known as Avios. So for example, British Airways is part of what's called the One World Alliance, which is just a big conglomeration of all these different airlines mixed together, such as American Airlines in the US, Cathay Pacific in Hong Kong, Qantas in Australia, and so on and so forth. So you can actually earn and redeem all these different airlines to British Airways, and that way you can build up a big pot that way. But actually the clever thing is to know what the British Airways other partners are, such as Iberia, example, which is actually in the same grouping as British Airways. And so you can actually earn and redeem Iberia Avios as well on One World and stuff like that. But what you can also do is actually interchange your Iberia Avios with British Airways. So that means that whatever you earn on Iberia, for whatever means you find, you can actually send them over to BA and then make a bigger pot. Now, because you can transfer your Iberia Avios over to your British Airways Avios, that makes some really cool deals. And here's why. Because Iberia actually often partners up with Groupon over in Spain to let you buy Avios at a good discount, often like 30 to 40% off. So effectively you can buy the points outright at a lower price than they should be, and then get outsized value by returning around and redeeming them for much better value tickets, and get a much better what's called cent per mile value. So for this example, let's say we want to go to New York. We want to go to the Big Apple. It's one of my favourite cities on earth. I was there just a few months ago. You can check that video out just out there. I'm not sure when YouTube's going to put the card. But yeah, let's say you want to go there. You have several options. You can either fly on Norwegian or WOW Air, or one of the low-cost carriers that goes across the Atlantic, and that is good for some. I've done it myself and it does the job. But let's say if you want to go a bit further up and you want to go on the big categories, then that's where the points come in. So as I mentioned the One World Alliance earlier and how you can earn and redeem on those different ones, what you might not know is British Airways is also a partner of Aer Lingus, the national carrier of Ireland. And the reason why you're interested in that is because unlike British Airways in the UK, Ireland and Aer Lingus don't charge massive fees. So how do we redeem our British Airways Avios on Aer Lingus? Pretty simply, once you've got all your points in your British Airways account, you'll simply need to call British Airways. And I know it's crazy to think in this day and age you have to call an airline on a phone. Unfortunately, that's the way it is with them. So basically, you call British Airways and specify that you're looking for Aer Lingus award tickets, because they don't advertise that on the website. You can't search online. But if you just make a simple call and put on your nicest face and your nice little giddy voice on, and they'll be able to help you, and they'll tell you how much it will cost in terms of Avios and in terms of tax and fees. And on average, it should be about I'd say 70 to 80 euros going from Europe to the US. I think it should be a bit lower, like in the 20s to 30s-ish, but don't quote me on that because this changes all the time. But compare that to British Airways, who charge between £500 to £600 per leg. It's a steal, it's the best deal. And even if you don't have enough points to go return, you can always just do one way and then combine that with a budget carrier like Norwegian, like I have done a few times in the past. Probably end up spending like, you know, £150, £200 return for a trip to New York, which, hey, it's one of the coolest, but no, you can do a lot worse for that. So the moral of that story is simply, if you know who's friends with who, you'll be able to reap the benefits, and yeah, your miles go a lot further than most people will. Tip number 4 is pretty simple, is get a credit card with rewards, because that's the easiest way to earn miles and points on the regular. Because if you can earn just from like buying groceries in the shopping and getting petrol for your car, buying shoes on Amazon maybe. I can't show them, they're too high up. But yeah, we're all done that. And yeah, literally just by spending what you normally spend, not try to spend any more than you would, and you just reap the benefits of getting something back in return just by putting it through a specific card. So to give you an example, if you live in the UK or the US, you can get what's called the American Express Preferred Rewards or Premiere Rewards Gold Card, depending on where you live. It's called differently. So by signing up for that card, you can earn a sign-up bonus, which you have to, if you can hit a minimum spend, which basically means if you can spend a certain amount within the first 3 months, you'll earn a sign-up bonus, which will give you, in the UK, I think it's about 20,000 points. And so what the cool thing is those points are what's called transferable points, and that's the best way to make your strategy for points and miles, is to get cards that can be transferred to different airlines throughout, not just one. So for example, American Express can transfer to British Airways, as we spoke about earlier. You can transfer to Virgin Atlantic and Delta subsequently, because they're partners. You can transfer to Etihad Guest and redeem on Etihad and on American Airlines. And also you can fly on, say, Singapore Airlines KrisFly program, which on the Star Alliance. So effectively you have a card that can transfer to all the different major programs and all the different partners. So in our example, to go from London to New York using British Airways Avios on Aer Lingus, the easiest way is just to simply transfer 17,000 American Express membership rewards points over to British Airways, because that's at a 1-to-1 transfer ratio. And so you just need 17,000 Amex points, which you would earn from the sign-up bonus, and that's just the easiest thing in the world. And then, yep, you just whisk them off to BA, and then you can make the call for Aer Lingus, and there you are. You're heading off to New York immediately. One major warning I'll give you guys is, please don't get yourselves into a credit card debt just for a free flight, because it's not worth it. Because if you aren't able to pay your bills in full every month, you will basically wipe out the value of your points, because it's just not worth it. So make sure only do the credit card route if you're financially sound and financially responsible. And yeah, I am definitely not a financial expert at all, but you have to be prepared to set aside whatever you owe and just always be on the dot, pay bills on the day and don't be late, and no late payments. That way you don't get a credit score. And so my fifth and final tip is very simple, is don't stick to one program and diversify your options, because you don't want to be stuck with one program and its devaluations or its pros and cons, etc. And so my easiest tip to get around this is simply find out about other programs. So in this case, I'd say sign up for one program per alliance. And so you've got 3 major alliances. You've got SkyTeam, you've got One World, and you've got Star Alliance. So you could say sign up for British Airways for the One World Alliance. You could sign up for, let's say, United Airlines for the Star Alliance. And you could sign up for Air France's Flying Blue program for the SkyTeam Alliance. And then if you know who's friends with who, as we mentioned earlier, you'll be able to intertwine each one and find out which one can earn with what. And so the reason why you want to do this is pretty simple. It's just so you can earn on whatever airline you happen to be flying on at the time, and also earn as much as you can on each one. So the easiest way to do it is to go to the site WhereToCredit.com, and they will tell you based on so you put into the calculator where you're going to, who you're flying with, and what class of service you're in. So that's economy, premium economy, business, etc. and yeah, they will tell you how much you'll earn each one. But don't just go for the one that's the highest, go for the one that you feel it will earn you the most based on your circumstances. So while, let's say, a BA ticket going from like London to New York is going for like, I don't know, 2,000 avios or whatever in earnings, and let's say, I don't know, LATAM Airlines is earning like 5,000 or whatever compared to that, it's not worth it because you're not going to use LATAM Airlines, you want to use avios. So think about the ones that you want, not just the biggest ones, and then just work that into your strategy. And again, cat and mouse, you're the cat and the airline's the mouse in this case. And so I want to give you some last remarks as I wrap this video up. Yeah, give this a try. You know, it's miles and points. It's the best kind of game to play, and yeah, it's I know for some it might not be, it might seem difficult at first, but it's really easy actually once you get into it. To give you an example, last year I flew from Hawaii to London with a free 2-week stopover in Los Angeles of all places, and I only paid $23.70. Whereas full price I would have paid $3,500. Those benefits far outweigh what the stereotypical and what most people consider to be the downside, which in my opinion there are no downsides. It's very simple. Just follow these steps and follow some of my previous videos, and you'll be whizzing off to far-flung places, and soon you'll be laughing saying, I'm the cheapskate backpacker who's traveling business class and I only paid $20. Yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Just sure to start giving some feedback and thoughts in the comments, because I definitely want to hear your guys' opinions on this, and tell me what you want to hear in future videos and what topics you want me to cover, because I definitely want to do more of these tips videos. And as always guys, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time. Ciao!